Welcome to I Love You So Much. My name is Reed Fish. I'm here with my good friend Tyler Labine.
Hi, everybody.
We are two divorced dads getting better. So Tyler, we always start with a confession, and I want to get mine out of the way first.
Do it, yeah. I think I kind of already have an inkling.
Well, and I do want to do it quickly because my confession is the opposite. It's about procrastinating. Oh. I feel like procrastinating is such a thing in my life.
That doesn't mean just doing things fast, you know, right?
Well, I don't even know the meaning of it. No, but I feel like I procrastinate on so many things in my life. I've kind of touched on it before, I think, but it's easy things that then start to become nagging problems. Mm-hmm. And the one I want to talk about is actually related to the show. Oh. We've been talking about selling our wonderful candles, which we don't have because we're in this temp studio here at All Things Comedy. We don't have our candles with us, our I Love You So Much candles, but they're available in our merch store, except our merch store is not online because that job has been tasked to me and I keep starting on it and then not finishing. It's not that hard, but it's involved. It would probably take an hour, 2 hours to set it up. And I've done like the first 10 minutes of that setup and I haven't finished it. And I keep saying, today's the day I'm going to do it. Today's the day I'm going to do it. And I just don't do it.
Yeah. And we have like a merch guy. We have like merch.
We're going to have hats and t-shirts and stuff. Yeah. So it's like, this is, and it's a potential revenue source for us. We need more revenue. We got to keep the show afloat.
Let me ask you though, like there's always something under procrastination, right? But with this store, with the merch store, and I know you've been like all in, like I want to make money off this.
Yeah, of course.
What's the other fear? What's the deeper fear? Like that we do have success, that we like, or that it fails?
The funny thing is like, I don't know how fearful I am of this being successful. Yeah. I'm like, I'm ready for it to be successful.
right. And that's more me. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it is successful in a certain way. We're not at the level where we want to get to, right? It's a trajectory. It's a climb. You know, maybe I'm fearful of being a functional human being. I don't know. I wouldn't know what that's I really don't know what the underlying thing is, because I do think there is something deeper.
Yeah.
And I feel like procrastination in my life started like when I was a kid, like when my parents split up, right?
Oh, sure.
And we kind of talked on here about that, the traumatic moment for me and how it really, I felt like altered my brain chemistry in a way. Right. And so I think it was then that I started putting things off. My grades started going bad and I just was not, as conscientious as I was up until, whatever, that was right before 6th grade. I was always like super conscientious and I am still, but like, I do have trouble like doing some, basic human functions.
Yeah. I mean, we all do, right? To a degree. I think procrastination is like a very relatable thing, but like, it is definitely, there's like a genesis of it and it's rooted in some trauma, I think, honestly. Like, I feel like
maybe that's it. Maybe I just like figured it out and I'm good now.
I don't know. It's like doing things, like doing things to completion. There's some weird resistance around that, and I've never really figured it out. And I have it too. Like I'm better at it than I was. Like I can definitely get things done, but like I still like the big things, like things that would really be great to get out of the way. Like right now, I'm like tomorrow.
Yeah,
like
tomorrow's a really great time to do that.
And stupid things like getting glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'll just see better tomorrow.
I still have my colonoscopy I got to do.
Right. Like when we talked about health.
And so here's the thing. So what I want to do on this is, we don't record this and then the episode comes out the next day. I want to make sure that by the time this episode comes out, you can go to our merch store.
I like that.
And check it out. So that gives me a hard deadline. So I got to figure out when this episode comes out, or 2 weeks, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So it'll be done.
You'll figure it out. 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks.
You got a confession?
Just flip the switch right there.
I'm done being on the hot seat here.
Yeah, I'm just going to pass it off to Gina. Okay, I have been thinking a lot about my confession for this week. And I think the big one for me is that the self-saboteur has showed up in my life. The saboteur in general has showed up in my life. And it's a pattern I'm familiar with. So my partner came back home from a vacation. She went to see her family. And I like immediately started a fight. Like didn't know I was doing it, you know what I mean? It felt organic and then it happened, but then I just went in and it felt good. And I was like, and I was like needling. And she finally was like, I feel like you're trying to implode our relationship right now. And then we went down this very dramatic black or white sort of like catastrophizing path where I was like, I don't know if we're compatible anymore. And it was like,
jeez.
And I heard, I know. This is why it's a confession. This is real shit. And then I could hear myself doing it. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you doing? But I was in. The saboteur was fully in the driver's seat. It wasn't even a choice at that point. I was like, I had committed. And if I just went back, this is the fear. And in reality, if I just stopped in the middle and said, whoa, I'm going to de-escalate right now and say, I don't know why I'm doing this. I need 5 minutes or a day to think about what I'm saying. I don't mean this. She probably would have been like, thank you. But the fear is that I'll sound crazy. If I don't back up what I'm saying right now with like, and then I just start, the verbal diarrhea starts and I'm like going deeper and backpedaling at the same time and like saying kind of like vague things. It's like full of vagaries, but like, and then I said things that you can't unsay, you know? And so now I'm in a place with my partner, and Martha, I love you so much, where I am like, I'm really kind of upset with myself and a little bit disgusted. I don't want to be, and now I'm like I'm trying to make things up to her. I want to like,
right.
And that we weren't even in that place. So now I'm like, I have all this extra work to do. And then the even deeper thing is that part of me is like, is that also part of my pattern? Do I want to have to like fix a thing? Do I want to have to like build myself up again in your estimation, or like push this boulder up a hill? Am I addicted to that? Do I want to break it so then fixing it feels like a thing? We had some static.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've always been in trouble.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm so used to being, fuck, man, that's so true. I'm so used to being like, I hate this term, but in the doghouse, you know? And then like having to be like, I'm going to be better. I promise. I'm going to do this. I'm going to double down on therapy. I'll be better. And I found myself having those thoughts, and I'm like, I don't want that. So my confession is that it's an old pattern. And it felt sickening this time. Like I'm smarter than that. I'm emotionally more intelligent than that now. I've done so much work around it. And so I did catch it, and I did ask her eventually, you know, can I have time to figure this out? And I really do love you, and it's probably very confusing for you, but I just need some time. It's a lot of things. My addict brain, my ADHD, which is on full tilt lately. It's negative invasive thoughts. It's the state of the world. It's pressures. It's everything. It's all just came into this like, I'm going to destroy it kind of thing. So that's my confession. And then my sort of resolve is to like really just kind of cop to it, acknowledge it, and then just do better. You know? Yeah.
Tyler, you have 2 weeks to get your entire life
Yeah.
together.
Okay. So it's deadlines. This episode is called Deadlines.
Yeah. If you want to chip in on the merch store, I'll.
Can we just switch? I'll do the merch store. You deal with Martha.
Gina Minardi, do you have a?
Well, can we introduce
confession?
Gina?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's a little awkward. You're Tyler's therapist.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're breaking the rules here.
Literally, this is not a joke.
We're breaking the rules here.
We're breaking the rules here.
Yeah, I know. That's what I felt like weird about.
I know.
Yeah.
I just asked her.
Well, we haven't worked together. We're going to be clear about that. How long has it been since we've actually had a session together?
Less than a year, inside a year, I'd say, right? Like,
so it's not a
9
traditional thing, absolutely, for the therapist to come on. Yes. So you
yes.
felt weird about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a little confession? I mean, a little bit.
It's a little bit of a confession.
Not like, I mean, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Reed is afraid of therapists.
Yeah. He's like, oh my God.
Yeah. I'm like, well, this is going to be a train wreck. I want to be here for this.
Yeah.
No, it just felt like, oh, is this like, you know, breaking some
code?
But my view is if you're both okay with it, I don't see what the problem is. Really.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So this is Gina Minardi.
Breaking the rules therapist.
Who made a huge impact in my life. I met you in a very sort of organic way through, I think I looked up online how to get an EMDR therapist. I'd heard a lot about EMDR, which was the area that you were focusing on. I met her and immediately was like, oh my God, this is it. Like I didn't know what EMDR was. I knew it was like, look at some lights and buzzers in your hands and you go back into your memories. And so that's how I met Gina, and then we had like a very successful run.
Yeah.
I think we just both came to a place where you were like, I think I'm timing out on this for a little while. And I was like, me too. And so anyway, tell us a little bit about EMDR and and
if you want to confess anything too,
let's hear your confession. I'm sorry. I told you ADHD is on full display lately.
On full display.
Yeah.
Also, am I allowed to ask a question about the saboteur?
Yeah.
So
see, the therapist comes out.
The therapist comes out just a little bit.
It's a free therapy session.
Yeah, this is what we're doing, Reed. This is what we're doing.
I needed one, all right.
Well, there was two things. I mean, so you're having sort of this like, you know, biochemical reaction that you're used to having.
Yeah.
So your body's used to that level of chaos and creating that. But the saboteur, when would you say you first noticed that saboteur?
In this scenario?
Well,
or in my life?
In your life. I mean, okay, now this would potentially go into a full-blown session.
Right.
But when you really started to notice in deep intimacy when the saboteur would come out and be like, I'm going to fuck some shit up right now.
In intimacy, for sure. Like I recognized the saboteur in my alcoholism pretty early on. I was like, oh, I'm definitely trying to like kill myself, sort of like destroy whatever my light is, you know? The saboteur in intimate situations, and we'll use the Martha one as an example. I think I first noticed that probably when I was about 25. I invited my ex-wife, we weren't married then, to move to LA with me, and then just dismantled it. Just completely dismantled our relationship. And I had every reason to, you know, I was like, oh, you don't understand. I'm working so much and I can't come home I can't get you a work visa. I can't do it. It was like all the things that I just sort of like assigned to blame to her. And I just destroyed it and we broke up. And we broke up for a year and I went into a deep depression. And then I did the thing. I built it back up and I asked her to marry me and like very dramatic, you know. But that's the first time I was like, whoa, that's like a heavy duty demon that just stepped in and was like, take it apart.
What I would say is do you bring love to your saboteur?
I am trying, you know, grace in all things, right?
Grace, and
I'm trying to understand and be curious about the saboteur. And like listen to because there are valid points that my saboteur makes. It's not always like, that's nonsense. Like it's informed by instinct and things that I feel are coming up in me. My anxiety is a tool, all that stuff. But I'm just staying curious lately, hence like talking about it here, asking Martha for a little grace around it, being like, hey, look, it's not born from nothing, but it may seem like absolute craziness to you. So yeah, I'm trying to love the saboteur, but it's hard because I feel like he's my enemy. You know?
Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
He is a dick.
Kind of a dick. But you have to integrate that dick.
Gotta let that dick deep inside.
That was a clip right there.
Deep inside.
Let the dick deep inside. You know?
You do.
It belongs in there.
Well, we won't go into IFS and parts work.
Right.
It's a part. Right.
Yeah.
So it's a part. And again, we'll go into later my plant medicine journeys, but then you really see these parts and the shadow parts of ourselves that really just are there protecting you. And these are things that we all know, right? But that was there was something about Martha and just like, boom, saboteurs coming out and then just derailed
Well, and it's the practice afterwards, right? Of what we're talking about. Like, okay, it's there.
Yeah.
What was it trying to tell me? And then what was like stuff I could live without, you know? Yeah. And like I got these, we've talked about before, but all the good, all the bad was like, that was my thing being like, I'm all of it. I'm the good, I'm the bad, I'm the shadows, but then when you're in it, sometimes you're just like, God damn it, I hate these shadows.
Well, it just is painful.
Yeah.
It's so painful when we really feel into our shadow and the parts of us that are just like, the parts that we really want to disown and not integrate and not bring in is like, this is a part of me. This is a very real part of me. And as soon as we start to kind of eradicate that from ourselves, we're just creating more unnecessary suffering. Whereas it's like, the saboteur is part of you. That's a part of you that's trying to protect you or.
Yeah. The usefulness
Again, we could do this in a
but the usefulness of our.
I love IFS so much.
Yeah, that's another form of therapy that I think.
What's IFS?
Internal family systems.
Yeah.
Gina, I do want you to confess, not to put any pressure on you, because I do think, I ask my therapist all the time, like, are you in therapy? Which is a little codependent, but I like it when we ask the therapist too, because they're the people who are helping us.
This is a vulnerable confession.
Okay.
Oh, good love
all right. I don't know why I brought my mic closer.
I called this the chair of vulnerability
the
other day.
probably.
I like it.
Everyone quiet.
When Tyler first asked me on the show, there was part of me that I was like, I was looking into the show and I was looking into the guests and I was like, well, everybody has these huge Instagram followings and they're actors and they're in the entertainment industry. And my imposter syndrome of well, why would they want me on the show? And then my partner looks at me and he goes, Gina, you have a fucking master's degree in therapy. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, what part of you doesn't think that you can be part of the conversation? And then that spiraled into my female kind of, I'm big into feminine wounding. It's a lot that I write about, work on with my clients, within a patriarchal system. Then I started going into the space of, I gotta go on a crash diet. I'm gonna get a bunch of Botox. And I cannot believe I'm saying this on air right now, but it was just all of this stuff that it was just like, are you good enough? You know, and it's fucked.
Yeah. That's so shitty.
Yeah.
And like, it couldn't
Being
be farther
a woman
from
is
what.
so hard, Stella.
No, it truly is. I mean, I admitted that I cut out my own gray hairs in the last one because and part of that was the camera stuff. Like,
Right. Yeah.
But also, I think men go through it too, because you guys were telling us that.
I mean, I have it too. I don't have an Instagram following. I don't even have a master's degree. I barely have a bachelor's, let's be honest. and it's in art. I mean, it's like barely
but you look
counts.
great.
Same. That was my first. Yeah.
You know what's so funny about this is so many comedians and other podcasters go on their show like they have a master's in this medicine, and you actually literally have it, and you were having imposter syndrome, and that's what's wrong.
Yeah, but it's so wild.
With that being said, this like feminine wounding, I think you said, and like this obligation to look and be perceived a certain way. What did you do to combat that?
I think having a toddler that I don't fucking sleep. Are we allowed to swear on this?
Fucking man, yeah.
I'm not sleeping. You know, my partner and I, there's been a lot of stuff, finances, but there's so much real stuff going on in my life that I was like, Gina, I don't want to represent to women that like, you know, and I'm not saying this against any women who get Botox and go on crash diets before they go on podcasts, but like how to really drop into our authentic selves and just be who we are without, but there's so much pressure. I mean, I work with a client, she's female, she's a director, but her and I have talked about this, you know, like this kind of going out into the world, being seen as a woman, and you're both, I can't believe I'm going to quote the Barbie movie, but there's that scene where her name is America
Ferrara.
America Ferrara.
Yes,
and I know exactly the monologue.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, it's
and did you cry?
Such
so
a great
powerful.
monologue.
Of course, yeah.
And every woman, I went and saw that movie with like, I don't know, 10 women, and we sat there because you're hated if you're beautiful and skinny.
Yeah.
You're hated if you're otherwise and aging, and you know, it's just like you can't really
win. What a conundrum.
And then it's the part of me that kind of like wants to fight the patriarchy by not falling into all of those, like, this is the status quo of being a woman is ultra thin and not aging. And
But the line is so blurry, right? Because you probably like, there's that also like, well, also I care about the way I look and I want, but like what was sort of programmed and what is actually a natural sort of instinct. It's confusing as fuck, I imagine.
Well, now we're in the world of AI and just like Instagram filters and tweaking this and tweaking that. And we don't really know what is real on bodies anymore. And I lived in LA for 13 years. And as a woman was probably one of the most confusing experiences as far as you would meet women in their 60s and you're like, wow, this is...
That's what I'm supposed
to aspire to look like.
Right.
So
I mean,
my
LA
confession.
is a confusing place in general for people, I think, when it comes to the way you look and self-esteem and like, oh my God, I moved to LA when I was 19 and my whole image was the buffoon, like the fat, funny sidekick. And I just like, I swallowed my own Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I was like, that's me, man. And I went and like lived that part, you know? We can talk about that later. That's been coming up a lot with the saboteur as well.
Oh, I've been wondering.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that confession.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like, I mean, you look fantastic.
That's what I said. I said, you're beautiful.
Yeah, you're beautiful.
Thanks.
But also the whole point of the show is like, we just want to be authentic. And you saying like dropping into the authentic self, like we struggle with it daily,
I mean,
you know? Like
we can be authentic, but it's still like, I'm authentically worrying if I look fat on camera.
Yeah, and every day I come here,
I'm very authentic.
Every day I come here, I'm like,
you're like, this is,
that's real.
Yeah.
And every day I come here, I'm like, this is it. They're going to figure me out. I'm like full of shit. I'm full of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Even my truth, you know, I'm like, is my truth full of shit too? Like, I don't know. Who the fuck am I? So I got to go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the other question then, right? You know, and Tyler pitched you to us as like, oh, it's my EMDR therapist. Right?
I said right away, I said, I want to have my therapist.
And
one of the earlier guests.
What is EMDR?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't. So here's the fun fact about Reed. My mom was an EMDR therapist for a little while. She was a therapist, and she did EMDR for a while, and then she kind of then transitioned that. She ended up doing neurofeedback, and so I don't really know if either of those things what they are. I kind of know what neurofeedback is. I don't know if they work. I don't know if it's bunk, if it's not. So what is EMDR like? And is it kind of an alternative therapy?
I would say some might think of it as alternative therapy, but I mean, there's a lot of clinical backing and research behind it. But essentially, when we experience trauma, trauma is not stored in the brain. It becomes almost, it's not an integrated part anymore. Like normal memories just become kind of integrated in the brain. And trauma, almost how I want to describe it to our listeners, is it gets lodged. And so when I give someone like Tyler the bilateral stimulation, the buzzers, what the buzzers do is
hold 2 buzzers in each hand, or a buzzer in each hand.
Yeah. And so he holds the buzzers, and then I ask him, okay, so we're going to talk about anxiety, generalized anxiety. And then I would say to Tyler, give me a really charged memory. It could be as soon as yesterday or when you were 5. And then within that, we're going to let the buzzers go. And that bilateral stimulation is going to kind of...
The buzzer is going from left to right.
Yeah.
Left to right.
And you can change the frequency and the intensity. And
yes.
So these are like game show buzzers kind of thing.
Kind of.
They kind of are.
Yeah.
Actually, when people first grab them, they're kind of like, what the fuck?
They feel like Joy-Cons from a Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're also really hypnotic. And so they're very hypnotic. So I also look at EMDR 2 ways. And this is very much how I work as a therapist, is there's the clinical research-backed science, of EMDR. I also look at it from kind of a spiritual, not many therapists would say this. I think EMDR sort of opens your third eye, opens your intuitive body, because similarly, when you meditate and you get into those kind of theta, alpha, that's what the buzzers do, and it drops you in. So I've seen, like, Tyler was single-handedly one of my most favorite clients with
Yes,
EMDR.
I win EMDR.
Because we would start with one of and Tyler has some major trauma and some of these memories that we would go into, but then this like deeper knowing and the access point in the intuitive body of what you would discover within yourself, whether that's inner child or as I would say, how do I want to say this, with your kind of God space, you drop into that. So I don't know if that was a little bit all over the place. Somebody who just wanted to give you their clinical, it's the bilateral stimulation targeting the active traumatic memory.
But I also, I'm having trouble visualizing. So we have these buzzers that go back and forth in our hands, and then there's lights or something?
There's different forms, right? The lights or the buzzers. I don't think you do both,
there's different forms of bilateral stimulation. Like I even had a therapist once.
And what is bilateral stimulation?
So bilateral stimulation is what I have been told in my training is it's lighting up both hemispheres of the brain. Yeah. So it's going back and forth, back and forth. Okay. Same thing like if you're playing tennis, one of the reasons they talk about, so that in itself is bilateral. And within that, it's the integration of the traumatic material where it becomes, so EMDR is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. I tell my clients it's like opening up a file cabinet and then taking the most traumatic charged material and we're moving the files around. So and the files are maybe not so hotly colored anymore. They're a little bit more neutral. They're not as intense. It's like an open wound that when you touch after time that it becomes a scab or a scar, there's less charge to it. Yeah. Which I actually wanted to ask you.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you what the bilateral stimulation feels like, because I had the same questions, like what are these buzzers for? And I had to buy a whole kit, and there was like headphones if you wanted as well, but we just used like the kit and this little like, it's got like a little like console. It was explained exactly like that. You were like, it's bilateral stimulation. It's going to like light up the opposite sides of your brain. But what it feels like is a welcome distraction almost. It was like a melting. Like when I had the buzzers in my hand, and it's very somatic, right? Like you feel this like, and Gina's talking and telling you like, okay, let's think of a charged memory. And for whatever reason, because this is like stimulating my brain in a very specific way, I was so much quicker to go back and find a traumatic memory. Like I was like, it was like there was nothing in the way. I just sort of went, boom, right to that thing. And this kind of kept me feeling like my brain busy. I was like, yeah, I can just do this, and then you get to go do that other thing. And it didn't block me. It wasn't like, oh no, don't think of that, don't do that. It was like, I'm just going to feel these buzzers and let you go deep. That's what it felt like to me. I think the coolest part of the whole sensation was the teamwork of it. It felt like we were going spelunking. Yeah, it felt like we were going like cave diving, and I was like, all right, this is when I knew I had the right therapist and the right form of therapy. You were like, okay, we're going to create like a team that's going to go back into your memories with you, like a dream team. I was like, what the fuck? And you were like, okay, pick somebody very safe for you. Pick someone wise, right? Pick someone who doesn't feel safe for you, I think was one. No, it was someone
protective, wise, and nurturing.
That's right, protective, wise, and nurturing. And I picked the 3. And it was like we were all like holding like weapons, like we were getting ready to go back into this dream like state and battle, and it felt so empowering, and also like externally very silly, right? I was like, once you you commit to it, it was amazing how fast we were able to go back into. And my big memory was a huge one. It was my dad literally. I had my shirt off when I was like 9 years old, and he just smacked my gut and was like, "Oh, look at that thing. We gotta do something about that. We're putting you on a crash diet now." Yeah. But for my dad, I'm sure it was just like it was a moment. Maybe he was having a bad morning, whatever. He saw something about himself that he didn't like, or genetically, and he just did this thing. But for me, it was this screaming memory of like, I'm not okay. This isn't okay. And we went into that, and we literally like froze the memory, and I went in with my team and you, and we like changed it. Yeah. I don't know how else to explain it. Like we went in and manipulated my memory with this team and you to like, be less brightly colored, less hot, but also in a way to like totally absolve myself of like any wrongdoing in the situation. Like it was just a moment, and it can be whatever it needs to be or whatever I want it to be moving forward. It was like changing my narrative, which feels impossible when you don't have a team going back there with you.
Okay, but now when you think about that, because you've talked about that moment on the show before, have you moved past that trauma? I mean, and the way when you think about it in the day to day, is it now just like a memory and not a trauma?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the most like evidence of that is that I've repaired my relationship with my dad.
Right.
So I think it's not gone. It's never gone. I still have things in my body, like even the way I carry myself, and I'm always like, my dad was always like, suck it in, and that stuff just sticks with you forever. But the shame around it and the pain around it and the like the sharpness of the moments, and then also the way you perpetuate your own narrative, your story feels immovable, right? Like when you feel like you just have this story and you're that's you. I've lost that feeling. I feel much more like curious, and I have like discovery in my life, and I have a lot more love for myself and for my dad. Does that answer your fucking question, Ray?
Dude, I've never heard EMDR explained so well.
Well, it
feels like an Avenger movie.
It felt like Dream Warriors. It felt like I had my Dream Warriors going back with me. And then like the things we covered and like the visuals that would come up, and I would explain them to Gina, and half the time she was like, oh my God, that's so vivid. And so like at one point it was like I was like a bear in these like snowy woods, and there was like a deer that was cornering me.
Wait,
and
so
like
you're like hallucinating? I don't understand.
She gives me room to visualize other scenarios, right? Like let's take that feeling and explore what the feeling maybe looks like. Or I would explain what my anxiety felt like, and often I would tell her it was this, I felt like I was getting too much air and not enough air at once, and I'm breathing through a giant hole in my chest. That's what my anxiety feels like from morning to night. I'm like, like this chasm, like I can't get enough air, but there's too much coming in. And she was like, well, somatically, like tell me what that feels like, not what it intellectually feels like. And then I would start visualizing, and it was like this pit, and I was like flattened at the bottom of it. And like, we come up with all these visualizations, and then we would figure out how to like sort of change the visuals,
Because it's hypnotic, because it gets you into that space, you're able to go into almost these imaginal realms. And that's really when I was listening to you. Tyler in particular was one of the most, his brain was just
all she had to say was one of the most. That's all I need to hear.
Truly, I mean, it was just like I would go on an adventure with him, but it was really, parts of him, and we could even say his soul, that was figuring out a different way to navigate through, this traumatic piece that then became desensitized, I believe EMDR is so many parts. It's slowing down the nervous system so you can access these points. It's kind of a sitting meditation. It's going into somatic with the buzzing, and by me saying to Tyler, okay, what are the sensations that you're feeling around that big gaping hole that, you know, tell me, are they constricted? Is it this? It's a lot of layers, EMDR.
But the delivery method feels so simple, you know? It's like, hold these things and I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
It blew me away.
It sounds like a mixture of like science and woo woo.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
well, that's
which
Gina.
That's me. Hi.
Well, which is fun, you know, which is kind of like, I don't know, that seems like a pretty good combo, you know, because I'm naturally a bit of a skeptic, right? And so
I feel that. I feel that. We're going into a session now, Reed.
Give me the damn buzzers.
Reed, you're in therapy and you've been saying you don't know if it is working for you. Are you ever curious, especially because your mom was an EMDR therapist, are you ever curious about like trying a different form of therapy? What if you're just barking up the wrong tree with CBT?
I mean, it could be. Yeah, I don't know. Do I think about other therapies? No.
What about right now? What about right now?
But I was thinking about, I was like, well, what trauma do I go back to? Well, obviously I already talked about it. All my parents split up. You know?
That's a big, it's all relative, right? Like, I think we do that a lot. We compare, it's like the trauma Olympics, right? Like, well, I wouldn't even place, you know, in the world of trauma. Like, I'm in 25th place or whatever, but it's all relative.
I commit to procrastinating to call Gina. About booking a session.
I've given him your number like 10 times. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm curious with your therapy. So you're just doing traditional talk therapy.
Yeah. And it's like Zoom talk therapy. Yeah. That's what my insurance pays for. And
of course. Like so many people, it's really expensive. You know, and what I would say, and I'm a little bit controversial when I say this, talk therapy misses some things. I'm going to just say it.
Sorry, Gabe.
Yeah.
That's my therapist.
Okay. Sorry, Gabe. I'm sure you're fantastic. We have to get into the body. You know, I think talk therapy is the most beautiful container, and there can be a lot of movement and a lot of change. And there's going to be a lot of people listening, therapists who are like, fuck Gina. A lot of change can happen, but with trauma and things that are stuck. So it sounds like to me that memory, your parents splitting up, is living somewhere in your soma, your body. So it doesn't have to be you going on some big plant medicine deep dive, but maybe getting in a little bit with the EMDR, with somatic therapy, because we can talk. I'm not going to go into my journey yet, but as a therapist, I went to a lot of therapy in my training. And later in life, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. Same patterns still happening, same things still playing out. What is going on? Sorry, as I just launch into this.
No.
But this is really, and then when I became a mother and in the first year of postpartum and everything, I don't talk about this when you become a mom, that what lives in your tissues just rises when you become a mother. And all of a sudden I was like, why do I have so much fucking rage towards my dad, my mom? Like I'm feeling these feelings and feeling things in me that I was like, this is not me. This is somebody else. This has kind of been an imprint. So that's when I decided to go on the plant medicine journey, because the talk was kind of missing it. I just wasn't getting quite in deep enough.
Because like stuff is manifesting in our bodies. Because I'm also like very like, you know, stiff. Like as a like, you know, I can't like touch my toes or, you know, anything. You know, I'm not a flexible
You're not flexible physically.
I can't see it.
Okay. I was like, Reed's getting into some stuff. Like you can't touch your toes.
No. Well, you know what I mean? But I've had moments, right, where you're doing yoga. And I remember like trying to stretch out my legs one time and then like just feeling the tightness and then wanting to cry because of like it, not because it hurt, but because it just felt like, oh, what's going on here? Right.
Well,
and that was 22 years ago and I haven't done it since. So
I have an experience like that I wanted to share with you too, that like it was shocking. This is when I realized like
from Gina.
Well, dude, that's so real, man. Like we can laugh about it like, oh, you can't touch your toes or whatever. But the fact that you hit something that made you want to cry, like it was like a button on your body.
Yeah, for sure.
I went to an LMT, a laryngeal massage therapist, because I have all these vocal issues, which you've talked about. And I would go get vocal, like laryngeal massages. And the first time I went, it's pretty intense. Like she moves your hyoidal bone right here and gets into like, and she like touches the front of your spine, like behind your larynx. Like she'll get right in there. And the first time she went in behind my larynx, it was like she touched like a frown that had lived in there for 30 years or like a cry. And I immediately started bawling. Like not just like tears were just sort of streaming out of my eyes. I was like, stop. Like I just melted and it felt fucking incredible. Like she just touched a thing. I think I carry all of my stress in my voice. That's why I think I have so many vocal issues. But like it was a button. I was holding physically some of this pain there. And that's when I really was like, oh my God, somatic therapy is like, so I was in talk therapy for 10 years, right? And it's great. I love it. I had a great therapist, Sandy Haber. She's the best. Dr. Sandy Haber.
Have her on too.
Yeah.
Bring all your
She's the one that was like, you're bullshit. That was the therapist who was like, you can come in here and lie to me if you want. Anyway, the combination, that's why I always tell people, like, there's a lot of people in the program who are like, well, I can't do this and that. And I'm like, yeah, you can. There's no end to how much help you can get, So like, do talk therapy, do EMDR, try some somatic therapy, try, I'm doing NET now. Like you can just do anything you want. Honestly, if it feels right, do it.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's true.
And
it's true.
I am an advocate for people finding ways, excuse me, to get into the body, whether that's breath work or just actual like movement, just moving your body, for women in particular, nonlinear movement can really open up trauma. I would say for you, Reed, getting into your body, really getting in. And because something, when you were telling me that story, I mean, I had a visceral, I felt it in my body where I went, okay, there's some, and so I think you said a few minutes before, well, does it just live in you? Yeah, trauma does. That's the whole, the body keeps score. There's many people who've read.
I was going to say, as an intellectual minded man, maybe starting with an audiobook.
Yeah.
I can't do audiobooks. I get distracted.
Sorry. Read it. Your body keeps the score. It changed my life.
What kind of books do you do? I can't
really
do audio.
smart.
I don't like reading. I can't do audio.
I didn't say I don't like reading.
No, I know. I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, the other thing I have everyone telling me, not Tyler actually, but like all my other friends are like, Reed, you need to do drugs. You need to do like, and like the plant medicine style stuff.
We're in Ojai, people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. And not that they're like, go do ayahuasca, but they're like, yeah, you need something, man. Like to do mushrooms or whatever, right? And I'm not a drugs person at all. So I've never done
just
any
the fact
of
that you
stuff.
said drugs person.
I was going to say that's a dead giveaway. I'm not a drugs person.
I prefer drinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a drug, man.
Sure. Tyler, around our small town, you're famous for one thing and one thing only. It's not your acting. It's how your beard smells.
How my beard smells, yeah.
Yeah, and feels. I mean, not a lot of people get to touch the beard, but I've heard from people who have, and I've done it myself.
A select few who have.
It's really, really wonderful. How do you do it?
Well, Reed, I'm glad you asked. I actually have been using these products from the Bearded Brotherhood for many years now, and they recently sent me a whole bunch of goodies and got themselves involved on the ground floor with I love you so much.
I love them so much.
I love
this
you
is
guys
great.
so much. Oh my God. And they have new products coming out. They have colognes, they have beard butters, they have mustache waxes, beard oils. They kind of run the whole gamut.
Well, I'm a non-bearded guy, but I'm tempted to grow a beard just so I can use these, but I think I'm just going to start with the cologne.
Yeah, absolutely. Start with the cologne.
All right. And I'll see how it works in my dating life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to work like gangbusters. I'm telling you.
I think so.
Also, if you want your dating life to get better. Be amplified. You can get your own products with our discount code, which is ILYSM15.
Beardedbrotherhood.com, right?
Beardedbrotherhood.com or Bearded Brotherhood on Instagram. You
can probably shop right there, right?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
So ILYSM15, 15% discount code.
Tyler, I think for me, one of the best things about doing the show has been the small but mighty community that is forming around the show. And we're inviting our listeners, our viewers right now to come join us, to come be with us on our Patreon. Yeah. You can do it for free. We prefer it if you pay, but you can get ad-free episodes. You can join the community. We're having discussions. Yeah. Patreon only content.
Yeah, some BTS stuff. Definitely I'm on there starting chats as often as I can, asking poignant questions and getting into forums.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're each doing a playlist. I think I have a lot of fun with that. In the back of my mind, I've always wanted to be like a rock critic or something. So it gives me a little bit of space to like throw some songs out there that I like and talk about stuff. So, we are patreon.com and we're ILYSM pod on on Patreon. Even if you don't want to check it out, any of our Patreon listeners already, we love you so much. You are the backbone of what we're doing, and to form this community, and hopefully it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, because these conversations are important. They're fun, and we're just connecting and feeling less alone in the world.
Community. So when we did run into each other at the Noodle House, you were like, I have to tell you this journey I've been on with plant medicine and alternative medicine. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Of course. Yeah. And I also want to give the disclaimer. I don't think everybody should do, really not everybody should do psychedelic plant medicine work.
What do you think about me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Reed, yes. And we can talk after about, but it's really, so for myself, my journey, as I was saying with my son, motherhood was super overwhelming for me in the first year. And I just had so much coming up out of my body. And I had been done with therapy for a few years because I just kind of wasn't getting anywhere. And that's when, through my partner and I's couples therapist, now I have to keep names, all of this stuff in this current administration that we're working with. So I was hooked up with somebody who was very skilled. And my first session by myself was MDMA. So a therapeutic dose. And now I say this with such caution to people. You want to know that your facilitator has been facilitating for years and years and years and has references up the wazoo. Either they're clinical or not clinical, but if they've taken the time.
They're credentialed. Yeah.
They're credentialed. So MDMA, I was like, I'm going to start soft with MDMA. And so a therapeutic dose is 150 milligrams. Now, I used to really party. And I was like, this is going to be fucking whatever. I'm going to take some MDMA. I'm going to lie down. And then what happened over 7 hours?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
7 hours.
You got like an MDMA Sherpa there, basically, right? To like guide you through the woods. Yeah.
Yeah. But essentially, your guide is really, the greatest guides stay out of the way. The greatest guides are really just kind of witnessing you. They're making sure that you're safe, that you're moving through what you need to move through. And in that session alone, I moved through so much trauma, but in the most loving, compassionate, gentle way in my life. I came out of that, and my partner, I'm a very fiery woman, and my partner over the next couple weeks said, the thing that I've noticed about you the most, Gina, is you have softened. You've softened so much, just everything. He actually said to me, I can see my shit so much clearer because I can't hook into anything with you. And I'm not saying, plant medicine, all of these things, nothing is the silver bullet. You do need to integrate. Integration is a huge part of it, working with a talk therapist after. So after that, then I decided that I wanted to go deeper and I wanted to do psilocybin. And I wanted to do a heavy dose of that and really get in there. And now I will just say with psilocybin, I have never felt feelings. Like I remember at one point in my journey, I took my mask off and I looked at one of my guides and I was like, I don't know if I can keep feeling at this level. It's too intense. The grief, the rage, the anxiety, everything from my life, and I will say past lives. It was collective intergenerational work.
But was the love not present in the
love
the
was completely. It was, and I was really nervous to do a heavy dose of psilocybin.
Yeah, it can go south, man.
It can go real south.
Yeah.
And also with psilocybin, I mean, it's a mushroom that grows on shit. Yeah. So you're also accessing the deepest shadow parts of yourself. So you really have to want to look at, these are some parts of myself, as you were saying, saboteur. Maybe I'm going to put this saboteur over here. Yeah. And, but so then it was all my shadow. Wow, you can really be a judgmental bitch, Gina. Wow, you can really, all these things. And I had to be with it. I had to feel it. It was incredible.
That sounds horrible.
It was amazing. It was amazing. It was the most 20 years of therapy. Well, but then I did ayahuasca. And I know, and I'm one of those.
MDMA was your gateway.
MDMA was my gateway.
Yeah.
It was my gateway. Yeah. It was kind of like I went up a ladder.
Okay, my question with all of it actually is like, are you still that soft? Did it wear off?
Great question.
Yeah.
Oof, this is a confessional. My partner at one point, we were having a moment with our little guy. We were tired. I don't know. There was something with the lids to the sippy cups. And And I just kind of, there was an old Gina reaction, and he was like, she's back.
Oh, dude. Harsh, man.
Can we also talk about that?
Yeah. It's like he was waiting for it.
So can we also talk about the unskillfulness of my partner? Like me, I love you, Jonas.
Lovely guy. I've met him.
Lovely, you know, but yeah, none of us are perfect. Plant medicine, all these things. I actually think this is a huge problem in the plant medicine world, is that people kind of proselytize, you know, they're walking on water now and maybe they're Jesus and, you know, they have all the answers. No, you're still human. You still need to do the work. You still have your funky shit. But will I say that those 3 different ceremonies for me were the deepest healing work in my life? Bar none. You know, Michael Pollan, have you guys all read that book?
I've seen the cover.
Is that the guy who
Changing
Your Mind?
How to Change Your Mind.
I watched the documentary on it. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Ram Dass and the
yeah. And something he talks about is psychedelic and plant medicine experiences. There's almost an ineffable quality. Me trying to sit here and articulate to everybody listening, you guys, my ayahuasca journey in particular, like I experienced a true coming home. Again, I have a hard time even putting words on it, because I was like, I've returned home. Like my soul has gone home. This is what it's all about. These bodysuits, this experience as humans. Yes, I mean, we're here because we're learning, and we're, you know, this is what I believe. We're souls, we're growing, we're here to ultimately learn to love ourselves and to experience and really believe the wholeness that exists within us. And to experience that, I actually went through post the Aya journey. I became pretty depressed for a week. I came home and I was like, turn on the news. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Everybody hates each other. We're starving children. We have a maniac running the country. I'm really going there on this podcast.
Good.
The separateness from source. So people want to put whatever word, God, universe, whatever feels comfortable, spirit. When you really feel like, oh my God, this is where I'm from. And then you come back to earth and back to this body, there's a grief, because there's a separateness, there's a separation of, and I had always, like, I'd read things from Ram Dass talking about that, you know, the bodysuit and being separate. But when you really experience that sort of blast and the love, again, and very feminine, this feminine love that is all loving, all forgiving, you just want to bathe in it. You just want to bathe in it and not really come back. So it took me a lot of time to integrate.
You had culture shock coming back into the into the world.
Well, but the cool thing about our little bubble of a small town.
Yeah. We live in a buffer zone.
Oh yeah, bubble.
Yeah.
Bubble.
Yeah. An ayahuasca bubble.
But it's
not everybody.
Not Reed.
He's not a drugs person.
Drugs.
I did a lot of drugs growing up. And I grew up in BC, Vancouver, British Columbia. And like on my walk to school, there were psilocybin mushrooms growing in like the cracks of the sidewalks. Like I lived in a cow town, and we would just pick mushrooms, dry them in our locker at school. I would like sell mushroom iced tea out of my locker at school for like $5 a sip. Like it was, you know, I was a fucked up kid, but
you were a drugs guy.
I was a drugs guy. But the experience of psilocybin for me was everywhere. I started doing mushrooms when I was in the 9th grade. First time I did acid, I was in grade 8. Yeah. I grew up doing mushrooms, and we would go in the woods and we'd take glow sticks, or we just like go wander through the wood. Like it was very like mushroom wilderness, you know? So I accidentally early on had some very spiritual source kind of moments I did not know how to process, had no idea, but like with friends and just love and like, or just by yourself lying in a field looking at, you know, I also had very matrixy moments where I was like, I'm God. I'm God. I'm living in a simulation. Only thing that matters is me. Like I went through all kinds of weird shit. And now as a sober person to go back, and you and I were talking about MDMA and ketamine for a little bit, which is very appealing to me, but not on an addict level. It's appealing to me on the healing level. I talked to my sponsor about it. He was like, really depends on where you are with it. Yeah. But I firmly believe that because I had those opening experiences when I was younger, I've seen the world in a very different way, sort of unconsciously. I would love to tap back into that. Yeah. And the closest I've ever gotten was breathing exercises, which I think I talked about on the show, didn't I? My manager during COVID became like a breathing
I think so,
coach. And we did this exercise where at the end I did like after an hour of like 3-part breathing, I screamed and I went to like vapor. I was one. I was like, this is nothing. I'm not even Tyler. What's Tyler? What's a Tyler? You know, I was just like part of the whole thing. I was like a color, you know, and I loved it. I was like, oh, I'm just this blue shade or whatever the hell it was. And I think that there's something really to that, to like, and I think people who haven't done drugs, and this is not a slam, I think it's also commendable that you never did drugs.
It's just what it is.
Because they can be dangerous, man.
Yeah.
I had to cut them all out.
Yeah.
So the tendency, I think, when you see someone who has never experienced the other side, or like you've swung the doors of perception open, is to kind of push. I want to be like, Reed, you should do it. But I also totally respect the fact that you haven't, and maybe it's not your thing.
And I haven't felt like a ton of pressure from you or anything to do it. Other friends,
I haven't said anything about it.
No.
But there is like a person sitting here that it's almost like when Ethan was like, dude, I see you in the gym and I'm like, look at what you could do with that body.
Yeah.
It's the same with certain types of therapy. I'm like, Reed, look at all the fucking shit you get to try for the first time, man.
Yeah. I know. And I think that'll be we'll do it on the podcast.
Oh, we should totally do like a guided.
Now we're talking.
We can do whatever we want in here. Like I talked about at one point, if we had like Katie Black come in and do like somatic therapy on us, and like just to show you how wackadoo that is, man.
I need to work with her.
Oh my God, she's great. We like sat down at one point, and I hope I'm allowed to talk about it. It was my session, but she just put a sash on the ground in front of me, like 2 feet in front of my feet. I may have even talked to you about this, and I was just like, "What's that? Why'd you do that? What'd you do that for?" And she just sat there. She just looked at me and I was like, "The fuck is happening?" And she was like, "What happened to you when I put that sash on the ground?" And I was like,
well,
there's like a boundary there. There was like I became aware of like this separation or whatever. And I kind of like pulled my feet back a little bit and got a little bit withdrawn. And then it was like eye contact with you, and we just went down, just like cascaded down all that thing, this little barrier she put on the ground, and all the ways that I have that there in my life anyway. And like all the things I do around this space bubble I have. And how big is it? How small is it? How does it change when I'm in certain company? Like it was nuts. And then I left there, same thing as with you. I was like, oh my God, like I don't know what happened. I'm coming back, you know? And we just did the weirdest things, man. We did like tapping and like, you know, like repeating things. And like, it blew me away. All these things that you get to experience unfortunately, if you have the income, which she's not that expensive. Gina, on the other hand.
And I've raised my rates.
I do love that you say that, because so many celebrities, it's like wellness is sort of eye rolled because it's so expensive.
Yeah, we're all very privileged. I mean, and I can't afford it right now.
I think for me, it was like prioritization, honestly. And I'm not saying it's that simple. Like there are people that were just, I mean, I'm there now. I'm trying to eke by, and I'm like,
Same.
Yeah, it's a hard time.
Yeah.
So I can relate to not really being able to afford the more kind of experimental and maybe kind of extravagant forms of therapy, but it was prioritization.
Dog therapy is expensive. Man.
Yeah, I know, for sure.
Even I have insurance, and it's still $50 a session.
Therapy in general it feels like a luxury, and it kind of is. But like, I put it this way: when I started really going deep in therapy, I was like, how much money was I spending on alcohol a week? I was buying an $80 bottle of Grey Goose every day. You know. Yeah. So, you know, and then it became like, okay, I'm ordering Uber Eats 3 nights a week at exorbitant prices.
Yeah.
Cook more, go to Costco. I started prioritizing and actually having separate funds for wellness. Again, I'm not saying that that's easier. Everyone can do that. There are people that are literally just getting by, especially right now, like I just said. But if you can prioritize something in your life, it should be feeling better, you know? So I did that. And I still struggle with I'm going to this NET therapist, which we can talk about later. And it's really, really expensive. But I had to put it in this category of like, I need this. I need this. And I need this more than I need a vacation this summer. You know, whatever it is, I need it. Again, that sounds pretty like privileged, but
No, I didn't mean it as a, sorry if you heard it like that.
No, I did. I think about this all the time. Like I want to preach the benefits of these therapies, and it's like, well, can you afford it?
We don't have that much time, Gina, but I have a kind of juicy girl question.
Okay.
Like, do guys fall in love with you a lot because you're a hot EMDR person?
Because Say this again.
I was like, do guys fall in love with you? Like, do guys get like overcome with feelings for you because you're a hot EMDR therapist that has to like?
I can speak on that.
I've been thinking it the whole time, and I'm like, I have to ask her, like, because you are truly getting into the soul of men, and you're a hot girl. Like, I just can't even imagine what that.
I had one really interesting scenario when I had an office on the West Side, and one of my clients was like, yeah, Gina, so, we could go have a glass of wine. I was like, no, this is not how this works. But yes, boundaries have been pushed and crossed. But I think it comes back to, which I don't think a lot of people, that was a beautiful question. It's more the intimacy. I think it has less to do with anything about me, but it's just really when you get into the heart and the depth of somebody's soul, there's nothing more intimate. And then if somebody and a man didn't experience that with a mom or, then there's all sorts of interesting projections and different things that come out.
I just think men will be like, well, she's a hot girl. That's why it's they won't understand the intimacy part.
Okay.
Unless
so
you're very
I want to tell you my experience with it, because I think it's totally in alignment with this question is like, yes, I noticed that you're attractive. I picked you out of a line of people. But I also am very drawn to feminine energy, female energy. I always have been. And when we met the first time, I was like, it's hard to not notice that you're a beautiful person. But it had nothing to do with it. There was this honesty and energy with you. And then even beyond that, what you're saying about the intimacy that we shared, like, I will never forget you. I will. You will be like, we went on a journey together. I have never let anybody in the world into that space with me, because it's almost impossible. Like that's what you did. We drilled in together, and like, I feel like you're one of the most important and impactful people that I've ever had in my life. It's hard to explain. So I wasn't confusing anything. The intimacy felt overwhelming, though. I was like, I was thinking about you a lot. I'd be like, well, just because it's like we share this crazy thing.
Well, you're an evolved man, though.
What's that?
You're a very involved man.
Yeah, but I can devolve quickly. You know what I mean? Like, he can. And I have. So, but I'd say this because I want to really, applaud you on what you do.
Thank you.
Is like, if anybody ever did enter into that confusing territory, A, I think you can handle it very well. Yeah. You're very professional. But B, I think it just goes so far beyond that, what you do, and what we did. So I don't know. It just,
Well, I feel like I'm not attracted to Gabe, but like I would want to go out for a beer with him.
Sure.
Because, because I feel like, it maybe was not quite as deep as what you guys have, but, it still feels like, oh, this guy knows me pretty well. It's like, and it starts to feel like your friend. Yeah. Who's a great friend because they're always asking you about you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I have some friendships where they don't ask about me, and you're like,
that's true. There is that tendency with your therapist to be like, you get me. You're amazing. You're great. You would be the best friend I could ever have.
No, I think my therapist is my dad, my stud dad.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I get that too. It's the same feeling.
Any relationship you enter into with this kind of sort of transparency, I think it's impactful, and you imprint on each other in a way that it just doesn't exist in other relationships. But that's how I feel about you. In case you were ever wondering.
Tyler, as I was sitting here
I was getting emotional too, because it's like, it really is an important journey to go on, and to have someone to trust like that. Like, I'm sure you probably felt that way to a degree about the people you went on this ayahuasca journey with. Like, you come out of it and you're like, oh my God, you were there with me.
Yeah.
Supported me. Yeah.
Well, it's like going to camp.
Yeah. Well,
being on a movie. Well,
yeah.
It's like you have those bond because you went through something together.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was, all of those humans who I bebop around and see in Ojai, there's a special, it's kind of, you just look at them
like
and you're like,
wink.
Yeah. And it's, maybe for some, there's a little bit of like, they're kind of in the ayahuasca, whatever, but it's really this, I was there, I witnessed your vulnerability, I witnessed you go into the depths of your soul, the depths of your trauma, throw up, all the things. And I think also we're just living in a time where there's so much artificial, like just our humanness, as I think all of us with AI and the introduction of all of this, it's going to become the most important thing is our humanness of just and heart and soul connection. So I think also one of the, I think what gets really bypassed in plant medicine ceremonies is the ceremony itself. Also, what is so healing is just the vulnerability of being, same with AA meetings, NA, it's just being with people in their raw, true forms, not sitting around, you know, bullshitting about whatever we talk about in life that doesn't matter that much.
That stuff
you know?
feels extra bullshitty after you go through like real good, you know, deep diving, and then you talk to someone about like the weather or sports or whatever.
Starts talking to me about fucking Bitcoin or I don't know.
Yeah,
just
right?
like, whatever. Yeah.
I care not. Thank you. I cannot.
Yes.
Well, I think that's where we got to end it.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah,
What an amazing time.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you were great. It was great.
Thank
like,
you.
Yeah, I would never know that you came in here like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
I literally did not sleep last night. Like I was just laying in bed like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to say.
And normally we have candles to give you, but because we changed
We'll get
studios,
you
we don't
one.
have a candle. We'll get you one. Night Blooms, thank you to them. Yeah. Thank you, Tiny Legends, the best production team in the biz. We love you guys.
And All Things Comedy for letting
All
us
Things
be in
Comedy,
the studio,
appreciate the temp studio situation here. And then, of course, our viewers, our listeners, we appreciate you. Shout out to all our Patreon subscribers. We are so appreciative of you all. And look, you know, thanks for spending some of your precious time on Earth with us. We love you so much.
Yeah, we love you so much. And Gina, thank you again so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you. This was so fun. That was awesome.